Hello again, Maverick traders, and welcome out to your currency market recap. This is Ankit, and let's break down today's market price action. It's a Tuesday, February the 6th. Let's get into it. As always, let's do our top-down analysis by breaking down what's happening in the broader markets and bringing it down into the currency markets, taking a look at the currency baskets, and then talk about some setups here. So let's get into it.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
So let's just start with our currency analysis and jump right into the news of the day. You can see that today was not a big exciting day. In the equity markets, we're consolidating while the US dollar and the bond yields pull back. So we have seen a nice direction from all of those areas. And now what we are getting is a bit of a pullback or some consolidation. So markets are taking a little bit of a breather here. No changes from RBA last night. They did sound less dovish, but at the same time, they weren't that hawkish either. So Aussie just strengthened right after the news, and they just didn't go as a higher. But right now, the market price action, again, not moving as strong across the board. Looking at the percentage change today, you can see it was not a big exciting day. Things were less than 0.5%, and usually that is where you want to be on the sideline. Look at Canadian dollar sideways. Look at the yen slightly higher. The only opportunity was the dollar pullback, but remember, dollar has been trending strong, so these are some counter trend moves. Aussie has been weak, and Kiwi has been weak. Well, they're a little bit stronger. So today's price action is just the opposite. Trend scores are there, no changes, but then the velocity scores in the short term in some relief rallies here. So this is where taking a look at the S&P, you can see S&P staying flat to slightly higher. World Stock Index as well. We've seen some nice movements in crypto, but again, that was mostly coming out of Ethereum. Outside of that, the gold market slightly higher, oil slightly higher. So again, across the board, things are just not moving as much. Now, taking a look at crypto markets, like I said, the Ethereum is doing the best, 3.54%, but everything else kind of being on the down low. So as far as our outlook goes, anything change? Well, nothing has changed. We're still sitting at a +3 in the markets. And again, that's why, we're not really seeing a whole lot of activity or a whole lot of volatility in the markets. Because things are pretty much on a cruising right now. So we are looking at this little consolidation phase. If it does break out, probably pushes higher. But usually after a big run, we see some consolidations. So usually you have to be very careful when you see this consolidation because, again, if the range is wider, then you can take advantage of that. But when the ranges are pretty small, then you pretty much have to stick with the overall direction. Now, looking at the schedule this week, we already have the PMIs from the US. Again, the US data remains strong across the board. RBA, again, sitting at 4.35%. Today, we have the employment change out of New Zealand. But outside of that, not a whole lot. On Friday, we have the Canadian employment report. So again, this week could be just one of those weeks where we see some consolidation more than a direction. Now, let's jump into currency analysis and take a look at where the velocity score is. So as we jump into velocity score, you can see that there's a whole lot right in the middle. Again, 0, not moving strong. We're seeing more weakness in the euro and the Swiss franc. As far as the strength goes, again, yen is a little stronger. Kiwi is a little stronger. Even Aussie is a little bit stronger. But remember, these are not the strong trending currencies. So I always recommend that you trade with the direction. So when you get days like these, you don't want to be trading counter trend, but you want to be taking the advantages of opportunities as those pullbacks or bases are formed. You want to be taking advantage of that, but continue trading in the direction. Now let's jump into possible trades ahead and take a look at what's really moving.
Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader?
So let's just jump into our trading view here. As you can see that we had the key view important report slightly. Let's take a look at the numbers. It's moving a little higher, so I'm assuming that number was stronger than expected. Yes, it was. What does that change for the key? Let's go on the daily chart. You can see that this thing is stuck in that range. So if you really think that, okay, I want to jump on a trade and want to just, catch a runner, usually whenever you have this overhead resistance, it's really difficult to get these runs. But when things move, when things break, that's where you get the big move. We are consolidation phase. Don't want to be buying the kiwi here. And it doesn't look like it's ready to roll over yet. So on the sidelines here, even Aussies, you can see that had a decent day today. But, overall, what's the trend doing? Trend is moving lower. Canadian dollar did pull back. But I think these pullbacks we can buy into. Overall, every pullbacks has been recovering decently. Now, looking at the pound, consolidation again. Looking at euro continues to stays weak in this little sideways range. Swiss franc has been pretty good overall, but again, sideways range. So if you're wondering why am I not catching big winners, that's the reason why. Things are consolidating. US dollar, you can see that it did break very nicely through the resistance here. It's pulling back. So when you see a pullback like today, you want to be jumping on the short, but that's not the right trade. If you stay with that discipline, you want to be trading with the trend. Trend was up. We have a support in place. And even if it does break lower, that's when we know that was not a confirmed breakout. It was a fake breakout. But so far, nothing is telling you that. So this is where, on the hourly chart, it's telling you it wants to go higher or lower a little bit longer. But it's not ready to reverse yet. This is where I would rather be on the sideline and jump back in when I see the dollar turn around a little bit. Now the Japanese yen, it just goes back in the driving seat when the yen dollar kind of pulls back. So what's the yen doing? The daily chart, what do you see? Going sideways. So a lot of sideways. So this is where, even though if I go into some trades, you're trying to push a trade. And this is something that you learn over time, is that you don't want to trade, the markets you want to trade. You want to trade what's in front of you. So when things are not there, you stay on the sideline. But when things do appear, then you jump on. That's just a way to make money consistently. Right now, I don't want to be looking at anything because this is not really moving across the board. So in conclusion, counter trend moves in the short term, but no change to the trend score. So let's stick with the trend score. Let the pullback come. Let the pullback kind of go through, and then we can jump in back on the trend once we start to see some buying or selling coming in back into the direction the way things are moving. Until then, play relative or weakness, proper position sizing. Volatility is low, so you need to keep your trades to down minimum. When volatility is increased, that's where you can take more and more opportunities, more and more trades. That's not the case. So be selective, be handful of the trades that you take. But remember, it's just the beginning of the month. When we have a whole month to go through, there's plenty of opportunities. So you always got to think longer term rather than very, very short term. So that's the takeaway here. Thanks for joining. Stay on the sidelines, keeping cash, and keep looking for your next opportunity. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a good evening. Cheers.